Well, hello there, my little devilish do-gooders, and welcome back to 31 Films of Halloween. Day 24. 24, and y'all still sticking around? Oh, mercy. Y'all gots to be crazy. Crazy enough to subscribe to my YouTube channel at Another Scream Queen 76. Alright, boys and ghouls, best put your neck braces on because you're going to get some whiplash. I gave you two international films back to back. So we're about to take a sharp right and head into classic Hollywood territory. Because if you know me, I am not going to let this whole month go by and not talk about a film from classic Hollywood. This one's specifically from 1955, and it's called Night of the Hunter. And Night of the Hunter kind of toes the line very delicately of horror. It's a little more film noir, suspense drama. But the central character, Harry Powell, is just so despicable and horribly evil that he definitely qualifies in some horror aspect. Anywho, Night of the Hunter was directed by Charles Laughton, and Charles Laughton was more well known for his screen and stage presence. Some of the movies that come to mind are like Mutiny on the Bounty, as well as Witness for the Prosecution, an excellent courtroom drama if you have not seen it. And this was his only directorial effort, which is a real shame because, I mean, the movie is just marvelous. But it wasn't received very well from the critics or audiences. I don't know why. Lord mercy, he must have had a blindfold on or went to see another movie. But Charles Laughton was like, well, F this, I ain't doing it again. And he didn't. He just never went back to it. He stuck to his acting. The screenplay was written by James Agee, and it was adapted from the novel by Davis Grubbs. Y'all, this cast is excellent. We got Robert Mitchum playing Harry Powell. And Robert Mitchum was just a cool dude. Very diverse actor. He could play anything from drama to suspense to comedy. But he was more well known for his film noirs. Specifically, two that come to mind are Out of the Past and Crossfire. If you are already a fan of film noir, you know these two are amazing films. If you're curious about it, these two are essential viewing, especially Out of the Past. But he also did some lighthearted fare. And I am not a Christmas movie person by any stretch of the imagination, but I love the film Holiday Affair that he stars in alongside with Janet Leigh. It is cute, it's whimsical, it's charming, and Lord help me for saying it, but it is romantic. I watch it every year. It's just excellent. We also have in the cast Shelley Winters, who plays Willa Harper. And Shelley Winters had a great career as well. She got 2 Oscars, one of them for A Patch of Blue. She also starred in A Place in the Sun, definitely essential viewing there, and in the granddaddy of disaster epics, The Poseidon Adventure. And then we have Lillian Gish as Rachel Cooper. And Lillian Gish was like the first lady of the silent screen. I mean, she's very well known for her silent films, specifically The Wind. And she also had a good career in talking pictures as well. She was in A Duel in the Sun, which she received an Oscar nomination for. And she just has a great screen presence. Rounding out the cast, we have Billy Chapin and Sally Jane Bruce. They're 2 child actors, and they play John and Pearl Harper. So the movie takes place during the Great Depression. And we are introduced to Ben Harper, who's played by Peter Graves. He starred on the OG Mission Impossible. And he has done a very bad thing. Y'all, he stole some money from a bank. $10K. You know, $10K back during the Great Depression. That was a whole mess of money right there. Unfortunately, he done killed 2 people too. I was like, Lord have mercy, just take the money. Not that I'm condoning theft, but a whole murder thing ain't gonna help you out either. Well, anyway, he manages to flee the police, and he gets back home, and he tells the kids to hide the money, no matter what. Don't let anybody find out where it's at. Well, about the time the police show up to arrest him, his wife, Willa Harper, played by Shelley Winters, shows up, and they all witness, their husband and father being arrested and taken away. And it's pretty traumatic for the son. Anyway, Ben is tried and convicted, and he's sentenced to hang. And while he's awaiting his execution, we are introduced to his cellmate, Harry Powell, played by Robert Mitchum. Harry Powell, God, this man is foul. And of course, he's a self-proclaimed preacher. I'm shocked. And Harry Powell is in prison because he just ended up getting caught for stealing a car, when he's done way worse crimes than this. He's a swindler of money, and he's also a murderer of very wealthy women. Lord, sounds like some kind of Dateline special, y'all. I was waiting to turn on the TV and see this man's story popping up, and I'm sure it has too, but he was probably the OG for this one. Anyway, while he's in jail with Ben, he finds out about this money. It's like, oh, hell yeah, here come my meal ticket now. Where there's a will, there's a way. And of course, he thinks that this is God's will, that, this opportunity has arisen for him. Well, Ben gets, and then Harry gets out of prison. And when he's in hot pursuit of Willa and the kids, and he heads into the town where they're at, and he is just smooth as a tub. I can't believe it's butter. He's wooing everybody, charming everybody, spouting Bible verses, and they think he's this very holy, kind-hearted man who has entered their lives. Y'all turn into Dateline, you're gonna find out otherwise. Ugh. Anyway, he ends up wooing Willa, and she's lonely, and she feels like the kids need a father, so she ends up marrying him. I mean, it's definitely Dateline material. How can it not be? And so she marries him. Well, the minute they get married, even on their wedding night, he just flips the switch and turns into a grade A, 100% asshole. He starts degrading her. Like, she wants to come to bed with her hubby hubs like anybody would. And Robert Mitchum was a good-looking man. I'm telling you right now, them eyes, I would have said, yes, please. Whew. Well, he says no, ma'am, on the wedding night, and starts to basically kind of degrade her. No, not kind of. He does degrade her, telling her that she's unclean and that she should, her expectations for, betting her husband are simply disgraceful. He even has her stand in front of the mirror, and she turns from this confident, happy, married woman, and you kind of just sort of see her shrivel up into herself while he's saying all these horrible things about her. Well, unfortunately, he ends up killing her. I'm telling you, Dateline. And it's kind of a spoiler, but it does happen early on in the film. Shelley Winters doesn't have a huge part, and she's actually quite reserved in this movie, and I think it works so well to her character and shows her talents. But Harry decides that, he's going to try and get the information out of the kids as to where this money is going to be. And that's what he's been trying to do the entire time. And little does he know that the money is inside the doll. Well, the preacher man gets really nasty with them to the point of violence. Like, he threatens to, break the little girl's arm. Lord, somebody get on the phone to DSS. This man is unfit to be anybody's father. Well, anyway, the kids get away from him, and they flee upriver. And they cross paths with Rachel Cooper, played by Lillian Gish. And Lillian Gish is just fantastic in this role. She's very, she's strict, but she's maternal. And she kind of takes in, stray kids, not cats, but stray kids. Kind of gives them a home and puts, food on the table, but she has them work, for their keep. And one of the lines that I love that she mentions is that she is a strong tree with branches for many birds. And I thought, oh, that's just poetic right there. You go, Rachel. Unfortunately, Harry Powell ends up catching up to the kids. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you the rest of the film and how it plays out. You'll have to watch it for yourself. I probably gave you too much information to begin with, but I had to make sure I set it up so you kind of knew the gist of the story. Night of the Hunter is sumptuously filmed. Like, some of the scenes in this movie, I was like, good gracious, how, like, it's a work of art, the cinematography in this movie. Performances are excellent. Robert Mitchum should have gotten an Oscar nomination. Lillian Gish should have gotten an Oscar nomination. And by all means, Charles Laughton definitely should have gotten an Oscar nomination. This is going to be a 5-pumpkin movie, hands down, period. I won't budge on that. So check out Night of the Hunter. And until next time, if you plan on stealing some money, don't hide it. Just spend it on me.